You know, it's interesting. I think every generation, and I don't mean to pontificate and sound too precious, but every generation thinks that their stuff was, better, and I get that. But when I was a kid and I watched Rocky and Bullwinkle or, the Looney Tunes with my dad, he would be laughing at not only the cartoons, but at the pretty hip cultural references that were written into the stories, right? And that was all by design, folks. That was not, the shows were designed not to condescend to the audience, just like Animaniacs. When you got Steven Spielberg running the show, you know that it's going to be really good stuff. I get people all the time now that are, say, 20, who come up and say, I was 3 or 4 when my parents were, my nephews or, my uncles and aunts and my big sister was watching Animaniacs, and I used to laugh when, they dropped the anvil on what was it, Barney? No, but Baloney. Yeah, thank you. You have Jeff Bennett. Oh my God, what a genius. So you drop the anvil on Baloney's head, the Barney knockoff, and they'd laugh at that, but now they say, wow, we really get the sort of, thinly veiled hit cultural references, and that is by design. So I presume that's part of what you're talking about. The other thing is that now my son is 27, and what he's tired of is because he, like a lot of you guys, grew up with 3D animation and computer-generated stuff. He wants to see 2D stuff now. So he is like, now the new Turtles is going to be CGI. That's what, it's like Jimmy Neutron, it looks great and all that. But in my son's view, he's kind of excited about, like he was thrilled to see the Princess and the Frog. He was thrilled to see something 2D because his greatest memories of childhood were like Lion King and Turtles and Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff like that. On which I played a character called Antoine de Coulette. Well, I don't know why, I just did. They gave me the check and I show up. It's hard for me, Garrett, to pass judgment on the new stuff because they're still paying me. I'm one of the few lucky actors who, you guys are getting real-time information from me. I came from a session on Monday, did Ninja Turtles on Monday, jumped on a plane Tuesday, I'm here talking to you guys. I'm going to Seattle this weekend, and Monday I'm back doing Turtles again. So I'm one of the lucky guys who literally has been working for 25 or 30 years. So I have a vested interest in the new stuff because it's still buttering my bread. But I have to say, in terms of an all-encompassing show that really sort of, solidified my experience performing-wise in the 90s, and it had to be Animaniacs, because from basically 1992, when we started recording them 20 years ago, this March, 20 years ago, last month, we started recording, I got the job as Yakko, right? So we started recording those things, and that was almost a 10-year gig. We recorded that, Pinky and the Brain, Hysteria, Freakazoid, all this stuff till like 1999 or 2000. Now, that whole time, of course, we got to do music. We had a 40-piece orchestra for every half hour. That never happens anymore. It used to all the time. You see Bugs and Daffy and Tweety and all that music by Carl Stalling and Milt Franklin. I mean, you could turn that off and go. It's great stuff, great stuff. And you know that on Animaniacs, we, in the Eastwood scoring stage, where Richard Stone and Julian Bernstein and Steve Bernstein did all that great music, they actually used the same piano that Carl Stalling used on all that old Warner Brothers stuff from the 40s and 50s. And they tuned it once a week, and it was spectacular. So, see, that's what I do is I start to ramble, but I'm sorry that I hope it answers your question, because certainly in my career, it didn't get much better than the Warner Brothers stuff. But Jimmy Neutron was also a really good show. Very clever. Oh, thank you again. I thought I dug you, man. You're right. You can come and help me pick up chicks again, you baby chickens. So it was a very good show and appealed to people on many different levels. It's not just for little kids. Some very subversive humor in there, right? And it spawned, it was originally a movie that made $100 million, got nominated for an Oscar, and spawned a hit series. And then a spin-off, Planet Sheen, which went down the toilet, but nonetheless, I got to sort of be Carl again, only with 4 eyes this time, named Doppy, which is short for doppelganger. Go figure. So, you see, there are kids now who are 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 years old, and if I'm still breathing in 15 or 20 years and still working, they'll say, you know, I got to tell you, man, the stuff that's out now in 2025 just isn't as good as Jimmy Neutron and Fairly Odd Parents, you know? So every generation has good stuff. It really isn't about the time, it's about the people doing it. Butch Hartman is a genius. He's from Detroit. You know, Fairly Odd Parents, Tough Puppy, Danny Phantom. I played Danny's father, Jack Fenton, and I also played the Box Ghost.
Technis, which for many years people thought was Gilbert Gottfried. Who is also looking for a job now because he can't say Aflac anymore. Jesus, I just opened my mouth to change feet, for Christ's sake.
So it really is about the people that are producing them. And I think you guys will dig the new Turtles because the writers-producers are the guys that used to write and produce that 70s show with Ashton Kutcher. They're very funny guys. So the scripts are really solid.